Folks, we've got big plans for small caps. It's official. Small cap stocks are on our trading radar. Yes, they are. We've got to act fast. Why small caps? Why now? Good questions. Now, this isn't just important today. If you play this right, it can carry you well into next year because we've got to come back on our hands. Here's what you need to know now. Folks, right now, there's a perfect storm of converging factors that's pointing to a single small cap stock, specifically ready to explode higher in the coming weeks, not years, weeks. First, let me tell you what's happening with small caps. Then, click the button below to find out our big move. Trust me, it'll all make sense in a moment. And you'll see which stock it is. All right, folks, I want to explain something to you. I want you to pay very, very close attention to this because this could be life-changing for you. And no, I'm not going to try to sell you something. This isn't a marketing pitch. I'm being really straight with you here. Right now, we have elections coming up in about 11 and a half months, right? Almost about a year from now, right? Well, and you also know how the markets discount everything ahead of time. So the markets are going to begin looking towards the election over the next couple of months. As a matter of fact, over the next 90 days. Between now and I'm thinking January, February of 2020, beginning of 2020. Why am I talking about elections? Why am I talking about when it's going to happen? Well, hear me out here. I have a really good point to make. And I've been talking about this for several months now, and I think this is the time window it's going to happen. You see, we're in a trade war with China right now. We've been in this trade war for a fairly long time now. And President Trump has been holding back pretty well from negotiating and trying to really fight and tooth and nail and get the best for this country, which is why he's been tough to negotiate with. And I'm glad, that's great. But here's the thing. President Trump wants to get reelected. President Trump also knows that having a strong economy and having a strong stock market is going to be key to his reelection. It's going to be crucial. And here's the thing. It's one thing to say, hey, jobless claims, unemployment's at a 50-year low. That's one thing, and that's great, and we're there. But if the stock market is kind of, faltering around, not really doing much, or enters a bear market and starts trading below the 200-day moving average, it's not going to be good for the stock market if stocks become bearish. People are going to lose a lot more money. They're going to become angrier, and Trump knows this. He's not a stupid guy. He knows this really well, and he wants to get reelected. So I believe in the next 90 days to 100 days, Trump is going to make efforts to shore up the issue with China. And they're going to make long-lasting progress in the negotiations. I don't think we're going to resolve anything in the next 90 days. I really don't. But I think we're going to go through phase one, possibly to phase two. We're going to get into serious talks that will develop a foundation for this tariff. It's not going to be a Band-Aid. We're going to go beyond putting Band-Aids. Until now, we've only been putting on a Band-Aid. Now, why is this important? Why am I talking about elections? What does this have to do with the next 90 days? The stock market's already at near all-time highs or at all-time highs. So here's what I'm thinking. If you look at small caps, and I don't mean penny stocks or over-the-counter stocks. I mean stocks with a market cap of $1 billion to $2 billion. I always tell people, think Amazon 15 years ago, 20 years ago. Think Netflix 10 years ago. That's a small cap company. Company that already has 1,000 or more employees. So very well-established company, but not a conglomerate like Johnson & Johnson or Coca-Cola or Caterpillar. So these companies, they're more speculative. And speculative companies are more dependent on China than large companies. Why? Well, if you're Johnson & Johnson and you have 1,000 products and one gets tariff, well, big deal. So it's easier for a larger company to stay on top versus a smaller company. They feel China more. They feel the impact, the pressure. But Smaller companies are also more speculative, so they tend to discount things faster than blue chip stocks. And it makes sense. The more speculative a stock is, the quicker it'll adapt or react to change or future change. Now, notice when the small caps, this is the Russell 2000, notice when the small caps made all-time highs. They made all-time highs over a year ago. I believe it was, I'm not looking at the chart, but I believe it was summer, August, beginning of August of 2018, a long time ago. And if you look at this chart, notice they've been moving very choppy, very sideways. They're waiting for the resolution. If interest rates didn't get lowered, if the Fed stopped lowering rates, this market would have gone down. But the Feds have been saving the day by keeping rates low and making three adjustments just in the last year, which is why they've been significantly just moving sideways. The stocks, the Russell 2000 I'm referring to. So just as they saw this China trade war, U.S. trade war coming long before the U.S. stock market did, the U.S. large caps did, they're going to start seeing the sun on the horizon, if you will. They're going to start seeing the end to this tariff trade war long before the S&P does. It'll start discounting it into its price. And I think that's going to make small caps move up in the next couple of months. I wanted you to understand my complete logic for it. So I have a very, very complete and sound logic for it. Basically, small cap stocks, to summarize, small cap stocks discount things ahead of time because they're speculative both on the way up and down. They're much more vulnerable to China than large cap stocks because usually small caps outperform the large caps by a small margin, not underperform. They're really holding us down right now. And I believe over the next 30, 60, 90 days, this little window, I think Trump and China are going to begin making concrete plans that will actually play out beyond bandages. And we're going to see a light at the end of a tunnel, so to speak, with the trade war. And that's going to cause small caps to make a huge comeback and kill it in 2020. Just destroy everything in sight in 2020. Hope that helps. Folks, right here, right now, a 90-day window is opening up for us. One that allows us to capitalize on trillions, I mean trillions of investor dollars flooding into the most undervalued small cap stocks out there. But you can't wait 89 days to take action. You've got to get moved now to reap the highest gains from this opportunity. How are we doing this? Good question, right? Well, click the button below to learn the number one stock that you need in your portfolio right now.